The following program is paid for by the Charlie Butler team.
Good Sunday morning, Tri-State. This is the Charlie Butler Show, and I'm Charlie Butler as we head into the new year here on. And you know, David, we forgot last week to wish everybody Merry Christmas.
Happy post-Merry Christmas.
And Candace and Ashley are going to sing Old Lang Syne to get the new year going out. Yeah.
Awesome.
We're too young to know what that is, Ashley. I don't know.
We hope everybody had a great Christmas. But, yeah, we are a couple days. This is the 29th, and so we're just a couple days away or so from the new year. And as we were talking, but to my left here, as always, is the regional director for Churchill Mortgage, who's a great sponsor of ours, is David Crow. Good morning, David.
Good morning, Charlie. And as Charlie said, I'll echo, I hope everyone had a very Merry Christmas, and I hope everybody's getting ready to have a very Happy New Year in a couple of days. So good morning, everyone, and glad to be here.
And, you know, I have made, I'm going to start on my New Year's resolution to be normal towards Candace DeArmond.
Oh, he's already broken his New Year's resolution.
How did I break it?
Oh, it's coming. I know.
Maybe in my mind, and also, as always, our other co-host, the president of the Butler DeArmond Network, Real Estate Network, and president of the Charlie Butler team is Candace DeArmond. Good morning, Candace.
Good morning, Charlie. Good morning, David.
Good.
How are you this
Tri-State.
morning?
I'm doing okay.
Did you have a good Christmas?
I did. Christmas.
Santa come and see you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's poor judgment.
Get the button
New
ready,
Year's
Bobby.
Eve resolutions.
Yeah. And also our guest is back today, who was here last week, is Ashley Wilkinson.
Hello.
Good morning, Ashley.
Good morning.
And we didn't let Ashley talk much last week, but we're going to let her talk a whole lot more this week.
Oh, great. Great.
Charlie didn't tell you, today's show is going to be the best of the craziest New Year's Eve stories you've ever experienced.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Okay, well, since David brought it up, what is the craziest New Year's Eve you ever had, Ashley?
For those who can't see, she blushed just a little bit there.
Got to clean it up a little bit, okay? Whatever, you know.
I don't recall. I don't know.
Okay, all right.
Which is another factor with New Year's. Sometimes alcohol does come into the picture, and you say, I don't remember.
That's about right.
We're teasing her.
I would ask Candace DeArmond this question, but
She's got so many stories up in it.
I bet she does, too.
I don't even go out on New Year's Eve. I don't like New Year's Eve.
Because it's amateur night.
Right. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. It is. So back when I drank, I rarely went out on New Year's Eve because it is. It's amateur night.
Yeah.
You get somebody who doesn't drink regularly. They always want to fight.
Uh-huh.
You know.
Yeah.
And
There was Charlie to oblige them the whole time. Let's throw it down right now.
no, I had a guy I ran with back in the day though. That, you know, he'd be gone. He'd be out in the parking lot, you know, fighting somebody. You know, it's
Good old days.
Yeah. I just wanted to have fun.
Exactly.
You know, I was out to have fun.
You know, Candace, I have to agree. We may have family gatherings, our children
Small
now over.
parties,
small parties, things like
Yeah.
that. But Charlie, we talk about too, even going out because so many restaurants.
Yeah.
And our joke, and please don't take it personal, it just seems like so, you know, Charlie, you're calling it amateur night. Well, you also have people maybe further out in the counties, whatever, on that night they come in, the restaurants are full. So I'm in the same boat. I can't say, now back when I was real younger, I'm not sure that's correct. But
You're from Kentucky, though.
I was going to say that's public education right there. But no, we're really in the same boat that it's always a smaller get together, smaller affair, that type of thing that we really do on New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I see midnight.
David, I know you're not as old as me, but you remember when the DUI laws also weren't quite as tough either.
What laws?
Well, exactly. Where when the cop would pull you over, you might have a case of beer sitting there. And I can remember I got pulled over one night like this in my 20s. I didn't know it's a cop that well. I said, well, I'll pour it out. It's on a Friday night. I'll never forget.
Yep.
And he says, you may not want to do that. If you go home, you can save that for tomorrow night.
Exactly. That's when they'd say, "Are you going straight home?" Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
For those listening, that's not the world we're in today.
No. They have you walk a line or do something like that. So it's and you wind up at the Crossbar Hotel.
Well, but Charlie brings up a good point. Back in the day, we had to get home. We were forced to make poor decisions, which really weren't viewed too poorly back then. But we didn't have Uber. We didn't have Lyft.
We didn't,
We didn't have somebody, we didn't have Jason and Nissan Sentra picking us up at 1 a.m. with bottled water and taking us to the house.
But
That
free
wasn't an
cab
option.
rides.
I remember being with Keller Williams. We were in Orlando, Florida, at their convention, and several of us had a few adult beverages. Okay, and we were and it was late. We'll just say we were going to have an early breakfast. And I remember Mark Spain, and anybody goes to Nashville recognize that. They see his billboards everywhere. But Mark says, "I'll call an Uber." And this has been several years ago. I'm thinking, what the heck? What's an Uber?
What's an Uber?
Yeah, but Mark called. I thought, I know Mark's a big star, but I didn't know he could just call on some
He just has a driver. Yeah.
It's a different world now, so there's no excuse for making poor decisions now. There's
That's
too
right.
many options out there.
Speaking of poor decisions, we've got David here. So, no, David, Candace, he hadn't talked about it much. What's David going to talk about today?
The rights.
We got to have Josie on.
I know.
The rates.
Because it's
The rates.
a much better impression than what mine is.
You're getting better.
I am.
You are getting better.
I'm rubbing off on you.
But
the
Josie
younger-
can do your entire speech pattern.
She can.
Awesome. I'm taking Josie to lunch.
Can you imagine that conversation back and forth between the two of them?
If Josie does it in David, she's David.
Yeah.
And so, David, since we're talking about the rates, what's 2025 going to bring us?
Well, I think here we're all just stable. That's where we are.
Yeah.
We're just kind of puttering along as a nation right now. No big ups, no big downs, just puttering along. And ultimately, I believe we'll see some movement come February, just with replacement data on inflation and the fact that unemployment may heat up a little bit higher. That could trigger some forgiveness and long-term interest rates. So we're just muttering along. I'm telling people, one of the things that I've done and have done for the last several weeks, if not months, is because one day it looks like we're going to tick up. The next day it retreats. So we offer at Churchill Mortgage a certified home buyer program. All I do is when somebody calls in, I do a pre-qualification. I just take it a step further. I acquire their W-2s or pay stubs, how they're going to have funds to close. I send them through underwriting. An underwriter approves the loan file, and we have what's called rate secure. So rate secure. And so what we do,
That's a pretty good impression of you.
He does.
doing the rates. So we have it's just a tick higher. We lock them in at that rate for 90 days. So that means when they're out here searching for a home, they make an offer. They know their worst case scenario on an interest rate and monthly payment. Now, if rates have gone down, they get the lower rate. They don't have to buy down. They don't do anything. But they have a ceiling on their worst case scenario. So people are going through the certified home buyer program, locking in the rate secure. They're out here shopping for homes, and they know what their worst case scenario would be. But we are probably anticipating a much lower rate when we actually lock in the rate for the purchase on that property. That is what I've been doing because so many people are anticipating things to improve. So as we walk into 2025, you're going to have a lot of buyers. And we've talked about on the show, January and especially February, we're going to start seeing that activity pick up with the home buyers in the market. It just happens every year.
So let me ask you this. What if Buffett and company, the big hedge funds, what if they keep buying bonds?
We need to slap their hands. They need to back off. They're messing with the bond, the 10-year Treasury.
Yeah.
And so I can't imagine what it'd be like to spend a week with Warren Buffett and his staff behind closed doors. Well, to be perfectly honest, I probably wouldn't understand much of what was coming out of their mouths.
Elon Musk said that he thought Warren Buffett's job was probably one of the most boring jobs in the world because he said all Warren Buffett did all day was read
and analyze.
Read company reports.
Yep, company reports and analyze.
And but they said he always finds something, maybe a line in there, on page 300. That he sees,
that he says that triggers him, to buy or sell.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
and Ashley, so I mean, would that be helpful to your buyers? To have it, what David just said, where if they knew the highest rate they were going to pay when you were showing them houses, and it could go down if rates went down.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I think that would be great for them to know.
Yeah.
What we find is it helps set the budget. They know what their monthly payment. I do estimated taxes, homeowners insurance. It gives you, the realtor, it gives them, the buyer, that area or range of price point of homes they need to be looking at. And Charlie and I have discussed on the show many times, as a realtor, the worst thing you can do is run around town for a month, 2 months, especially getting an accepted offer, to then have a buyer go, okay, now I'll call David to get pre-approved.
Yeah.
And then you're under contract.
Yeah.
I'm just now looking at it for the first time. And God forbid, a scenario that happened 2 weeks ago, I pulled their credit on a married couple, and she is 510 and he is 540, which calculates into they're not closing on a deal. And then you and I talk about how much gas money you've spent showing them homes for 2 months. That was a very realistic conversation that happened.
Strangely enough, I've got another Charlene Salpetre story.
Oh, boy.
Right in there. So I have this very nice couple come in, well dressed. They're always well dressed.
Very well dressed with a nice vehicle.
With a nice vehicle when they've got bad credit. They always are.
Yep.
And so you're thinking, all right, this one's okay. You think,
in your head.
They're okay.
Yeah, sized them up.
So I show them homes for a while, and the lady said, back then, this has been 20-some years ago, I didn't have a lot of money, so I advertised a lot in the Thrifty Nickel because cheap.
Yeah.
I put all my homes in there. And she said, I'm looking at Thrifty Nickel, and God led me to your ad.
God led her there.
God led her there.
Perfect.
Okay. Well, the woman's religious. I'm justifying all this.
Yes.
And so Charlene, I find a house, nice house, and I sent to Charlene, and I said, Charlene, she said God led her to us. And Charlene says, well, I'm not one to question the Almighty, so I'll look at it, Okay. So she calls me back the next day. She says, the lady that God led to you? I said, yeah. She said, God should have told her to pay her bills.
Amen. Amen. So, which just speaks to,
and that is not any anti-religion. That's just
And folks, I just had a young one. She is young. Two, she is fairly new to the industry, and she had a couple in this past week reached out to her, and they were forthcoming and said, "Hey, we know our credit's challenged. We know there's some things there." And the realtor was like, "You need to call David Crow, and David will lay out a plan for you." And sure enough, they're not in a position to buy now. Mm-hmm. But, and I chuckle with the realtor, she said they're both on here, but the wife wants to be the point of contact. And I just chuckled and said, absolutely, Mama's not happy. The husband was like, just tell me what I have to do. But Mama's the one driving it. The good thing is, realistically, as challenged as they are, and they knew it, we're on a 6-month plan, which is going to put us roughly middle of 2025. Realtor loved it. They loved it. But no one had ever laid out a plan for them to start addressing some of these negative situations. But they're going to be a buyer in 2025. And so I would love for everyone to give me a call. I'd love to help them to lay out those plans. And there's a lot of people that are challenged right now. I mean, they're trying to make ends meet. And rent ain't getting cheaper.
No.
No, it is not.
And to remember, as far as expensive as rent is now, people say, well, they'll say, David, well, the interest rates are too high now. Your rent, when you're renting, the interest rate's 100%.
100%. Everything there is gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to pay, as we always say, you're going to pay somebody, you're going to pay a mortgage. You're either going to pay your landlord's or you're going to pay yours.
Yep.
One of the two. And Candace, you've been quiet over there. So I'm going to turn it over. We're going to turn it over to you and Ashley for a second.
Okay.
For a little
Oh,
bit.
they're singing?
No.
No.
We are not
Unfortunately, no.
singing. Oh, so Ashley, after you've completed your first year in real estate, do you have any crazy stories?
I do. I had a listing on Adams just here recently. And I went over there, and you could tell people had been living there because it was gross. But so I go ahead and I list it, and
When you say people, you mean like homeless people?
there was squatters
Squatters.
there.
Squatters.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I was there, and I was just looking at the property, and the guy that bought it lived down the street, and he came down there, and we were just talking, and I went home later, and I listed it, and a couple of days went by, and we got it under contract for him, and I got a call from him that he was out walking his dog, and people were in this listing, and so I go over there and I call the cops, and of course they didn't do anything. And so I boarded it up, and a couple of days later, I get another call from him stating that he found two people there, and he's held them captive in there, and
Oh, my gosh.
they can't get out. And I called the cops again, and we actually caught the people, and they just let them go. And so that will for always be my favorite story.
And as you said, the guy bought the house, so the guy.
Yeah, he did. I was scared he was going to back out after seeing everything that went on, but he was like, no, I want to buy it, and he did. So
And didn't he tell you that you found something else down in that area?
he was
that-
going to buy it too.
He didn't buy it? Okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
So if you happen to live on Adams, give Ashley Wilkinson a call. Ashley, what's your number?
812-568-6583.
And if you live anywhere, also other places besides Adams, it's not just Adams.
Yes, that'd be
Yeah.
nice too.
Then you doesn't have to have squatters, does it?
I would prefer no, but if you do, that's okay too.
Yeah, I've also encountered squatters before, and I don't get as now. I just go the other way. But the first time I encountered a squatter, I was doing a BPO on a property years ago. I was pretty new in real estate, and I walked in, and I just had this sense that that I wasn't alone in this house, and I'm snapping the pictures real quick, and there were like these louver closet doors, and something caught my eye, and it was the guy's eyes behind there looking out at me, and I kind of focused in, and he realized I was focusing in on him, and I realized it was a person. He came running out. We nearly ran into each other running out opposite doors. I scared him just as bad as he scared me. So, yeah, that was the fun one.
So for all those listeners, get your
Yeah.
real estate license. This is the fun you get to have on a
It's
daily
so
basis.
much fun, yeah.
People that when they so many people that when they come in, they say, "So well, why do you want to get in real estate?" Oh, I love showing pretty houses.
Oh, every
Yeah.
time I hear that, I cringe.
Because actually, what percentage of your job is looking at pretty houses?
I unfortunately haven't seen that many.
Well, a more veteran, Candace. I'll ask Candace. Candace, what portion of your job is just looking at pretty houses?
For every pretty one I see two that are not so pretty,
Yeah.
or maybe have a smell, or but those are also things that some people can look past and some people cannot. I've worked with a lot of investors, and I've seen them turn things around. So now whenever I go into, you actually taught me this, we walk in and we smell that
Smell 'em.
bad smell. That's the smell of money.
Smell of money right there.
Yes.
It
And
is.
actually, Kurt Welty, one of the guys we work with, he told me that smell that we smell a lot in foreclosures, and I don't know if he was just telling me this, but he said it was roach poop. I didn't know roach poop had a smell, but that's what Kurt said. I don't know if it's the truth or not. He might have just been
Means
telling
that
me
sales
so
price is going down and that investor's getting a good deal. Investors aren't
I
scared of that.
I had never heard that one.
Kurt told me that about a year ago. We were looking at one, and it had that smell that you get in a lot of them.
I don't know. It could be. I don't know.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
So I don't know. If it's not true, then he just had me announce that on the radio.
On the radio.
So, yeah.
And but with his name behind it, though.
That's right. That's
Kurt's the one that said it. Candace just repeating the story.
That's right. I just repeated what he said.
And we have not paid any bills yet, so we better pay some bills real quick. The Charlie Butler Real Estate Show is brought to you by Churchill Mortgage and David Crow, who is their regional director. And as we always say, you hear Dave Ramsey on here probably 7 days a week, Bobby, I guess. The recordings on Saturday and Sunday and his live shows, through the week. And probably just about every hour he talks about Churchill Mortgage.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he has for almost 30 years now. And as we said, the people in Brentwood, Tennessee, where Churchill's located at, are great people. And there's an 800 number. You'll reach those people. But if you want local service, David is great. He treats his clients really, really good. And David, how can they get a hold of you?
Well, like Dave Ramsey says, you can go to churchillmortgage.com. If you do, you're going to see the local branch locations based out of Owensboro, Kentucky. Whether you're online or you're listening now, just simply give me a call or a text, 270-222-0676. I'll be happy to help you. I do loans all over the state of Kentucky, state of Indiana. Actually, at the end of the year here, my Florida license is renewed, so hopefully I'm going to do some more business in Florida.
David's getting ready to talk about another trip. I know.
Here we go. I've got to go to Florida now.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, Bobby, maybe you'll get mentioned in the pool in Florida too. What was I? I was going to say something. Oh, Bossy Title.
Bossy.
Forgot about Bossy Title. Candace, should I do the commercial on some of the stories from golf trips that Jeff Bossy and I have been on?
No, you should not.
The muzzle just came out.
Right.
Yeah.
Get the trap door ready, Bobby.
So, no, the official title company for the Charlie Butler radio show is Bossy Title, and they've been a great sponsor for a long time. Mm-hmm. And anyway, so call Bossy. They're great for, they'll do your searches. They got an attorney on staff there, got Claire Kincaid, Kelly Norton, great closers, and there are others who I'm forgetting.
Yeah, every time you start to list names,
I know.
I always know that's a
an Oscar speech. You're going to leave someone out.
It's so easy to do because they do have
pick me up here.
Well, I'm not the one that's saying names. What I'm saying is a general statement that they all do a very good job. I've never had a bad closing with Bossy Title.
No,
every closer I've worked with.
And Candace and I both pretty well strictly use them.
Yeah,
so Candace, I know you've looked it up already. So what is their number?
It is 812-421-4000, and they are located on Rosebud Lane, right inside of Newburgh. Very interesting fact about the location of Bossy Title. It is technically a Newburgh address. Mm-hmm. However, if you stand at their back door and throw a rock, you're throwing a rock into Evansville. So that's actually whenever they moved to that location, the first time I went there, I thought, oh, they're in Newburgh now. And so I'm going and my GPS is telling me to turn. I'm like, no, it's in Newburgh. I didn't realize that before you got to the interstate there that one street is actually Newburgh.
It is Newburgh.
So Jeff Bossy will let you stand at his back door and throw a rock into Evansville if you want to. Just call Jeff ahead of time. And Ashley, you mentioned off the air that you like listings probably better than buyers, although you're like the rest of us, you'll take either one, right?
Yeah.
And now, I think one story you left out, and I was involved in this a little bit originally with you, but you handled it much more than I did, was you sold a house that had bullet holes in it.
Oh, yes, I did. The trap house.
Why do you call it the trap house?
It got shot 22 times.
Okay. Do you know why? Did anybody ever tell you?
I mean, I have a good idea, but
Well, why do you think it did?
I mean, I call it the trap house for a reason.
Okay. David, do you know what a trap house is?
A trap
Yeah.
house?
Yeah.
Well,
I know.
Charlie likes drill rap, so he knows what it is.
Yeah. I'm just checking to see if you know and Candace knows.
I'm just apparently too redneckish to know exactly where we're going here. So
Yeah. Candace.
Charlie taught me.
But I forgot. So now, what did I teach you?
A trap house is, and I don't know where the name originates from, why it's called trap house. I don't know.
Maybe I actually just made it up.
No,
like
I didn't.
know.
I didn't.
No, it is in. I've heard the term a
Yes.
lot. It is a house that a lot of things that are illegal go on in.
That's exactly it.
Drugs and ladies of the night. There's just a lot that goes on in a trap house.
Got an address?
Yeah.
teasing. I am
Mattresses on the floor with no sheets. I mean, that's a trap house.
The lady that lived there at the time, I don't think was involved with the trap house. Yeah. Okay. Well, never mind. We're gonna move on from that.
So
No.
bullet holes.
Yeah. Yes. And I didn't notice them until the buyer had said the windows upstairs were been shot at. So I went over there and I looked, and sure enough, there had been. So I just Googled the address, and it pulled up an article from like a month ago where I had it listed at the time.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't realize.
I
that.
didn't either.
I did. I had it listed, and when the buyers first saw it, those holes wasn't there. But this when they finally got possession of it, the holes were there, and I knew where it came from because I Googled the address, and sure enough, been shot 22 times.
Oh
Wow.
my
Wow.
gosh. I did not realize
Yeah.
that it was while you had it listed.
Yes.
So did the article say was there just other people that the police didn't shoot it? Other people shot it, correct?
A gentleman stood across the street and shot it 22 times.
And did the article say what his reason was?
But if I had to guess, there would be money involved.
Okay. All right. Okay.
For those listening, Ashley is very politically correct and chooses her
Yeah.
words softly and wisely.
Okay. We are running out. Thank you, Bobby. Bobby, you always say, I want to be quiet. You want to be quiet until you.
Sometimes I just can't help it. I mean,
Okay.
that was set up. That was
That was
T-ball.
a softball right there.
Okay. I'm going to tell how long ago Bobby G was, if you don't,
Long time ago.
long time ago. Yeah. 1 minute left. Keep me from telling a story.
Oh, shoot.
Fun fact for
Saved
next week.
by the bell.
Fun fact for next week.
Bobby, I don't know if you've played Merle Haggard's Christmas song, Daddy, Please Don't Get Drunk and Follow the Christmas Tree.
I have not. See, remember, we're after Christmas. I'm not worried about any more Christmas songs.
Oh, you know? That's
yeah.
right. We are after Christmas.
That is right.
So
yeah.
anyway, Bobby tells us we got less than a minute. Candace, how can they get a hold of you?
They can reach me on my cell at 812-455-6338, or they can call the team phone at 812-430-1708.
And if people have been shooting at your house, or if you have squatters in a vacant property, we won't call Ashley Wilkinson. No, Ashley does a great job. Ashley, what is your number?
812-568-6583.
Yeah, Ashley can deal with multiple issues, but she also she does like pretty houses like all of us
please.
do. David, how can they get a hold of you?
Folks, let's get pre-approved. Let's buy a home. 270-222-0676.
And after you get pre-approved, you can call either Ashley or Candace or myself. And at the Charlie Butler team, if we can't sell your house, we'll buy it. My cell's 812-499-7758. And the team phone, Candace, is
812-430-1708.
It just really makes you feel good to remember
It
that,
really does. Every time I say it and I don't have to look, I'm like,
Okay. Now I've got to go talk to LaDon to see if she'll let Bobby continue playing Christmas music. But for Candace DeArmond, Ashley Wilkinson, David Crow, this is Charlie Butler. Have a great New Year and a great Sunday.
This program has been paid for by the Charlie Butler team. From the Kate Foppel Ford Studios, this is News Talk 1280 WGBF.